Government planning new crime-fighting team. Family squabble ends in murder. And is a new crime-fighting team even necessary? I am Noriko Bulford, and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. The government is currently working on the legislation for the institution of a regional joint support team, which is a new crime-fighting initiative which will work to support the joint services in crime fighting around the nation, supposedly. And it would comprise of members of the JPF and the GDF. These outfits, the president said, will enable quick and multi-dimensional responses to crime fighting, supposedly. While Minister Ben said they're also intending to support the forces by leaving a permanent presence in communities in the hinterland and other regions. However, they have yet to announce the timeline on when this legislation would be formed or who will even head this organization. But with the money from the supplementary budget, they are more than ready to spend the funds on the initiative. Today, the president rejected reports that the government has rejected flood relief from Trinidad. According to him, the government told them that we don't need aid in the form of food as we've got that covered. But they did accept an offer of drainage pumps, and Trinidad has asked for the specifications, to which they've already responded. But they didn't need anything else on the consignment list they provided to CARICOM. Thus far, the EU and Canada have provided cash to the CDC, while the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and a number of United Nations agencies are spearheading assessments for immediate and long-term recovery efforts. Last Thursday, the police reported that a capsized boat on the Takatu River left 2 persons missing, including a businesswoman from Linton. Now the family of Walletta Rigby is looking for answers, as they believe she is alive. Rigby's mother is claiming that there is no evidence in the water to show that the boat had actually sunk. Further, she claimed that the boat captain has been spotted in Venezuela. As such, they are asking for the public's help as they suspect that Rigby is currently being held captive somewhere. Nandalol says that SOCU has been increasing its staff to go after financial crimes. As such, they have recruited staff in the areas of law, forensic audits, accounting, and investigations. Interagency cooperation between SOCU and the DPP will also be improved. He says several shortcomings in the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering of Financing Terrorism Act will be amended, and SOCU's investigation capacity will be expanded to include the oil and gas sector, illegal wildlife trade, terrorism financing risks, etc., etc. There was also an assessment of the overall national vulnerability of Guyana in relation to money laundering and terrorist financing risk. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this Nissan Juke. It comes with mag rims, new tires, DVD stereo, reverse camera, rear spoiler, and much more. Buy cash for $2.9 million, or pay down as low as $580,000 with around $66,000 monthly for 4 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peterborough Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. This morning, one man in Georgetown reportedly killed his brother for hitting their mother during an argument. According to an eyewitness, the mother was rebuking one of her sons when he allegedly cuffed her. This triggered the other son to grab a knife and confront his mother-cuffing brother. Unfortunately, before the eyewitness could ease tensions, the brother stabbed the other multiple times about the body. He is currently in police custody. On Thursday, 59-year-old domestic worker Samuel Daniels was arrested and charged with the murder of Shalini Paul. He pleaded not guilty to the charge. Nevertheless, he was remanded to prison and is expected back in court July 26. This morning, handyman and regular crack cocaine abuser Darrell Scott was charged with the possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. According to the prosecution, the cops busted him at Hadfield and Leopold Street with over 7 grams of hard white rock cocaine on his person. He pleaded not guilty. Scott was released on $60,000 bail and is expected back in court August 2nd. Remember kids, drugs are bad. A quick cent is better than a slow dollar. Sell Digicel top-up and watch your money grow. This is one of the simplest investments you can make to let your money earn you money. Call 685-3109 and get started today. Now for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 109 new cases there are now 459 persons dead, 17 persons in the ICU, 1,473 persons in home isolation, and the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 19,674. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. A preliminary study by the Ministry of Health has found that diabetes and hypertension were the leading contributing factors in COVID deaths. Kidney disease and heart ailments were also identified as major contributors. Thus far, 103,029 persons, or 21.2% of the adult population, have been fully vaccinated, while 229,846 persons, or 47.2%, have received their first dose. None of those that were fully vaccinated have died of the disease. While the arrival of the Russian-made vaccines may be delayed, the Health Ministry is expecting the soon arrival of the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine. When it arrives, it will become the 4th vaccine to be administered in Guyana. Region 1 continues to lead the vaccination campaign, with almost 60% having received their first dose, while Region 10 comes in last with just 14.3%. So, you just booked a flight from New York to Guyana. The flight costs roughly $300. With a total of just 22 kilos, your flight cost is taken care of. And as for you shippers, stop wasting half your day online just to be overcharged for multiple day shipping that may or may not get there on time. Go to ferryshareglobal.com and become a member today. The GRA's License Revenue Office will soon be commencing registration of motor vehicles in the PAB series, or as I like to call it, the Pass a Bribe series. Aha! The current ZZ series has less than 200 motor vehicle registration numbers remaining. This series began in August of last year. This more or less follows the current trend for the past decade or so of an average of about 1,000 cars a month being registered in Guyana. And now for our stupid news of the day. Let's face it, like many other institutions around the world, our nation's security forces are corrupt. But instead of fighting the corruption endemic in the system, this time around the PPP decided to circumvent the whole established, constitutionally approved national security system to create a whole new policing division that most definitely has the potential to devolve into legalized secret police force for this nation. I mean, let's not sit here and pretend like a clandestine version of this didn't exist in the past decade. Now, in other situations, I may give them a pass, but not this time, as I know that this current opposition party is not strong enough to keep them in line. Like I always say, a vigorous and smart opposition is necessary for a healthy democracy. But this opposition is about as vigorous as Roger Luncheon. How's he doing anyways, like nowadays? I mean, he's been old all my life. Anyway, hope he's all right. But so don't think I'm being anti-PPP now. I'm just telling you a fact about politics around the world. Any government left unchecked will become corrupt, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. Seeing as this nation has a weak and compromised set of institutions, an ineffectual opposition, and a politically lazy population for the most part, the government will become corrupt if you give them enough time. All of this is to say that the people need to bring more attention to this crime-fighting group and demand full transparency about it, how it will be formed, who they are and what they will do, and how's this $700 million being spent. Because honestly, we can't accept anything less as corruption hides in darkness and obscurity. Hey Guyanese business people, are you looking for a great way to advertise your business? Search no more. Join one of the fastest growing business directories in Guyana. Register your business on snap.gy and get access to more eyeballs. And wait for the best part, it's absolutely free. Get your business listed today on snap.gy. Moving on to our uncut news, viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, the price of everything is on the rise. How much more are you paying for your weekly trip to the market? Jay Jairam said, I'm spending $10,000 more on grocery items now than ever before. Oh my. Sharon Davis says, I used to make styles to buy 5 Belanger for $200, and I bought 2 for $500 last week. Now I have a sense of appreciation for all the times that I've walked away from reasonable items that I thought was expensive. Right? Because these prices are insane. Susie Rahim says, every month I go grocery shopping. The prices go up. As for vegetables and seasonings, OMG. Now all the criminals being set free to do what they do. What the H is Guyana coming to? Yes indeed, Susie. Yes indeed. And finally, Harry Goulwa said, I am spending a whole lot's money on all items, not only on groceries, all other stuff. This is happening all over the world. It's been blamed on the pandemic. I am hoping when it is over that things will go back to normal. Let's all hope for the best. I hope so too, but unfortunately I doubt it. I'm pretty sure prices are just going to stay this high. So, for tonight's question. Well, I was going to ask something about the Rona shots, but I'll leave that one for Monday. I was just really moved about this whole police force thing, so I really want to know from you all. How do you feel about this? Am I being paranoid, or do you too feel like this has some possibility for abuse? And just as they said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does often rhyme, and I'm sorry, but this is sounding kind of familiar. So anyway, I want you to think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in Monday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.